This is the homework helper for Chapter 4, Section 2 in the 7th grade textbook entitled Rates. Let's begin with the first four questions. Number 1 says a part-time job pays $237.50 for 25 hours of work. How much money does the job pay per hour? So they want us to figure out how much I'm going to make for 1 hour of work. So my unit rate, which is one of the things this section was about, is going to have the hours on the bottom. Why? Because they're asking me about the pay per hour, or for 1 hour. So I'm figuring out dollars over the number of hours worked. Well, based on the scenario described in the first sentence, I'm making $237.50 when I work 25 hours. The goal is to make the bottom number become a 1, because that's going to figure out my pay per hour. Well, in order to make the bottom number become a 1, I'm going to have to divide by whatever the bottom number is. The bottom number right now is 25. So I'm going to divide the top by 25 as well, because of course anytime we work with equivalent fractions, whatever I do to one side of the fraction, I have to do to the other. So when I take $237.50 and divide by 25, the result is 9.5, which means in context of the question, I'm going to be making $9.50 per hour. Number 2 says a class trip consists of 84 students and 6 teachers. How many students per teacher are there? So they want me to write a ratio that compares students to teachers. How do I know that? Because the second statement there, the question, is asking how many students per teacher are there. Students per teacher is what it says. So you've got 84 students for 6 teachers. And they want us to reduce that fraction so we figure out how many students there are per one teacher. Again, the goal here when we're talking about these unit rates, which is a lot of what this section is to always make that bottom number become a 1. So since the bottom number was 6 and I'm going to 1, that means I'm dividing by 6. Again, you're dividing the top and the bottom by whatever the bottom number happens to be. So I'm going to take 84 and divide by 6. 84 divided by 6 is 14. So we find out that a ratio of 84 students for 6 teachers is the same as 14 students for every 1 teacher. Number 3, a factory builds 960 cars in 5 days. What is the average number of cars the factory produces per day? So we've got 960 cars being made in 5 days, and they want to know about 1 day work. Remember, the unit rate is going to make that bottom number become a 1. And since they want to know about 1 day work, that's how I know I'm going to put the days in the bottom, because that's the thing they're asking me to take to 1, which is how a unit rate works. The bottom number becomes a 1. So to make this go down to 1 day, I would have to divide by 5. Because 5 divided by 5 is going to give me 1. So I'm going to do the exact same thing in the top now. Take 960 and divide it by 5, and I get 192. So I'm spitting out 192 cars each day if that factory is building 960 cars in 5 days. All right, number 4. The wireless cafe charges $5.40 for 45 minutes of internet access. How much money does the wireless cafe charge per minute? So again, they're asking me in the question there, the last statement, per minute, to find the amount per minute, or for 1 minute. So that's the thing they want me to make 1, and again, the thing that we make 1 in the unit rate is what goes in the bottom. So the minutes is in the bottom, which means the dollars is in the top. All right, again, goal here is to make the bottom number go to be a 1. So I've got 45 going to 1. So I'm dividing by 45 here. Divide the top by 45 as well then. 540 divided by 45, that's 12.12. So in other words, 12 cents per minute. $5.40 at 45 minutes is the same as 12 cents being charged every single minute. All right, we've got one more question to look at, so let's go to the bottom of the worksheet and take a look at that question. That's question number 9. It says the nut house sells macadamia nuts in 3 sizes. The 12-ounce jar for $8.65, the 16-ounce jar for $10.99, and the 24-ounce tin at $16.99. Which size costs less per ounce? So since they're saying per ounce, per 1 ounce, that means they want the ounces to go in the bottom. Now, one of the things we did not see in the notes today, not that it's going to make this any trickier, it's definitely not, but there's actually 3 comparisons to make here. The 12-ounce jar, the 16-ounce jar, and the 24-ounce tin. So we're going to be looking at all 3 to identify which one costs less per ounce. And remember, we're looking for the dollar amount here to be the smallest. So we can spend $8.65 on the 12-ounce jar. We can spend $10.99 on the 16-ounce jar. Or you can spend $16.99 on the 24-ounce jar. Again, in all of these, the goal is to make the bottom number to become 1, because that's the only way we compare them is when we're figuring out how much we're getting per 1 ounce. So this one, since the bottom number is 12, I'm dividing the top and the bottom by 12. In this one, since the bottom number is 16, I'm dividing the top and the bottom by 16. And in this one, since the bottom number is 24, I'm dividing the top and the bottom by 24. Now, in all of these, the bottom number is going to become 1. So I don't really have to think too hard about what's going to happen there. It's pretty much guaranteed that we're going to 1 here. The top, that we're going to have to think about. The first one, $8.65 divided by 12. That's 0.72083 repeating. So we're paying about 72 cents an ounce there. The second one, $10.99 divided by 16. Well, we find out I'm paying 0.686875 there, or about 69 cents an ounce. And when I come down to this last one, $16.99 divided by 24, I find out that I'm paying 0.7079, or about 71 cents an ounce. So again, if we're asking which one am I paying less for, the smallest amount comes in right here, which started off as 16 ounces. So which size costs less per ounce? The 16-ounce jar.